Okay, look down there. Just lay down flat.
Like this?
Yeah. All right. What I want you to do, Henry, is to pull the leg up. Now he gets a little fussy, probably screaming a little bit.
This is operatic training.
You know, I didn't think of it like that. See how creative the son of a bitch is? He's fantastic. It's releasing little by little. But it's an indication of aging too, is what I suspect. So, and I think a lot of the stuff he's tangled up inside of himself has a direct correlation from here to the gut area. Because, and if those are enzymes that are causing this stuff not to release, then by undoing the enzymes, he could change. Otherwise, he struggles the rest of his life not to change. Because I think the enzymes are already shut down. They probably shut down very early in life, is what I suspect. But, see, the leg should gradually, the knee should release on its own. So you're trying to force it, and it's not necessary to force it, because when you pull the leg down, I've had people, they put the leg right next to the ear. When I get this release. Because these are, the process that he's reacting to is really unknown in the way of neurosis. For instance, when you have a neurotic event.
Let me get a chair, sit down there. Go ahead. Yeah.
When you have a neurotic event, there's nothing. Oh. When you have a neurotic event, go ahead and just relax. And whatever that neurotic event is, it's forward, it's active forward, passive coming back. When you think about picking up something, your consciousness picks it up actively, and passively, you let it go and your hand drops, comes back. What I'm finding is that passive state is not so passive. I think it relates to aging as well. That's what I think is happening. And I think it's enzymes that are modified due to whatever whatever he's compromised to, because he's very compromised. And why and how we can speculate on that, but nevertheless, his reactions are showing that instead of releasing, he's reacting, and that's the reaction suggests that these fact. That's why the older person, when they bend over, the knees bend. He's doing that now. This is early on in his life. He's 40. See, and I think he's bringing on features of energy like the old person, in which his system will not let go, won't release. So it's once you get a release there, even the past active state neurotically changes too. But I'm working right now on what would be considered a passive state. Now this area here of the see this area here is the fetal energy, and it's good. That fetal energy does not necessarily go to the infantile energy at the bottom of the foot. So, so whatever, see now, when I work this area, you see his actions will show where the bone grew and where his system started showed growth factors. So now I'll see something. The pain he feels is a reactive pain.
Mhm.
Now, the active and reactive energy is very different. So he felt pain when I did that, and reaction, body wound up. But then as I held it there, it exhausted that nerve network, and the leg just let go. And that frees part of the brain to change its energetic attitude. So, I mean, it went through 3 or 4 releases. If you're attentive to it, you'll see it. It's just like that. Now, how could I get him to release that unless he knows it's a problem? So yeah, how can he mentally change it when he doesn't know there's a problem there until you stimulate it, and to the point it becomes intense, and then suddenly it shows up. And then we can pull it out. So the brain lets go. And its chemistry starts changing. When you start releasing a system like this, it starts letting go to the point new systems are possible. The nature of a new response is possible. So that's why this, and it may, now for instance, the calf up to this point here is an approximation of the energy here from the fetus. If that energy doesn't go into the infant, the bottom of the foot is infantile. If they don't flow into each other, then they start compromising each other energetically. What was that tension doing there? See, I'm not digging into it. This may look like I'm not digging into it at all. This is, I'm right on the surface of the skin, just slightly indented, maybe an 1/8 of an inch at maximum. But look at how much his body reacts to that. So what's it reacting to? What is in there that he's maintaining for no good reason at all, except some compromise by emotions blocking feelings. And you start releasing this, suddenly the leg lets go. Then you start developing a new flow of energy to his brain. See, when I touch his foot, look at that reaction. Now, is that because the fetal energy doesn't get to the infant? Because at some point, some people, what happens, the feet will start curling up, and they can't release. But you see, now when I work on the bottom of the foot, which I will, a lot of the wow-wows of the child, in my opinion, the energy from the fetus does not enter the infant for some reason and unknown reasons. And what I'm suspecting is that those unknown reasons are locked in from a radical change in the action of the breathing. When you take a breath, you start locking in molecules that are presumed. For instance, when you start running and becoming competitive, that's probably not your energy. Probably, I would guess that some of the energy is coming in from molecules, from different creatures, different life forces, and they come into your body. Different people. And when it comes in your body starts metabolizing from sugars at those points. Therefore, it doesn't get ventilation from the molecules of the air. Okay, so it's locked that out. So the result of that is that ventilation you're not getting because you're metabolizing from sugar. The process of ventilation can't occur in all parts of your body. So it's a
Yes. so love this.
Hmm?
I so love this.
He's a masochist, see? All these points of reaction go right back to the organs that they're related to. So where there's reaction, there's an organ behind that. And so when I stimulate it, I'm forcing the organ to get a free flow of energy and have cybernetic contact with that foot. But well, look what happens. See now, when I come up the leg here, so this is, when I come up the leg and I come back to this point, it's going to be interesting because what little I did here will have an effect. If I had tried to talk him out of it, he wouldn't be able to understand what the hell I was saying. Because the experience transforms it. And what happens when he's releasing, his body's saying, oh yeah, that's a reaction there, but the brain does not register it except as pain. So that's why when I work this leg, it's the ability to overcome the reaction from that leg. So anyway, what's happening right now, this is all this stuff not only goes to the brain, but it also has an effect in the gut area. Now see, he's right here, there's a blockage right there. Now that blockage, why is that blockage there? What is it containing? What is it holding on to? But you can feel it. So when I move that energy, it'll force that energy to release. And it's probably a missing enzyme that's in there that won't allow him to change.
And you will talk.
That was classic. High five. That was genius. That was just genius.
Do we have a writer here too?
Yeah.
But I'm glad you saw what he did.
Great talk.
He's really very, very capable. And this, I don't want to say.
He's got a brilliance that he doesn't understand that he has.
No, he doesn't.
You agree? I mean, the way he comes at something, it gives you, I don't know, it just brings it alive.
It's unique.
Yeah.
Unique. The writing, the structure of the writing is very unique.
Yeah.
See here, that blockage, see it's right there. Put your hand on it. You're going to feel it right there. See it? Feel it?
Right there.
It's a tightness in there. Why is that more tight than the associated musculature?
Right there.
Yeah. Now those are all things that the body has assembled dysfunctionally. This does nothing for him except hold on to dysfunctional stuff.
The ideal body is a flowing instrument.
It's plastic.
Yeah.
It's very plastic.
Yeah. It's like when you hear a great artist performing, it becomes the instrument and the artist become one.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
See, he doesn't relate to his body
Yeah.
at all. He really, in fact, dislikes his body. And that's the key to open that up. Because then he can readapt and then start taking on positive values and purposes that transcend a negative response to himself. So, as I say, he's unique. So he pushes a damn pencil around, his corporations, and it's time for him to, at least if he keeps doing that, he's got to make an effort to continue what we already recognize is virtually its form of genius.
Mhm.
You know? This guy's got one smart brain. So anyway, I want to come back to the leg again. I want to see if anything released the leg. Because this spills over into every part of the body in some fashion. So I want to get his leg up. And you've just got to bias a little bit of pressure on it so that it transforms from here. I can reach it from here. And then gradually it'll just let go and flow. And the energy start flowing through it. It's not flowing. So now, in Alexander's case, at his age, that should have broken through. It should have been related to next to his ear. But he's resisting the hell out of it. What is he resisting? The same things that he is resisting psychologically. So we had a long talk this morning about how he feels about passion for the sake of passion, and for the sake of things he does to frustrate him. But he does, and we had a long talk about that. I gave him an opinion of what I believe from what I've learned from my own work. And I think he understood that quite a bit. Because he doesn't make commitments, energetic commitments. So, because a commitment is too structured for him. He can't deal with it. As it is, what his business is very structured. Long hours. When he does that, the long hours, and he has to be committed to accuracy too. So all those things here, they can't just, oh well, I'll do it later. I'll have a good time with it. There's no good time there. You get it, you fuck it up, and your reputation is going all to hell. Do I have that right, Alexander? Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Do I have that right? So anyway, I'm going to see, because this is very apparent, it's actually diminished. There's a lot of stuff hidden there emotionally in the bones.
Because it really reacts when you get to those areas.
But not initially.
Oh, is that right?
No. I put there, he didn't feel much. And it builds up because as electricity builds up, it starts pushing stuff out of there. And he perceives it as pain because the brain is involved in restricting the feelings. So the brain is not your friend, it's a restrictor. When you start thinking about stuff, as much as you may solve things with that brain, you also create problems because the brain bonds in with emotions in the psychosocial settings, and it starts blocking your feelings in your body. That's why this other energy coming up, out of mild energy, it comes in the lower quadrant of the chest, it won't go to the brain. Stops. Until I can sort that out, then I get the energy to go from the body eventually to the brain, but it doesn't stay in the brain. It goes through the skull cap. But that energy, because neurological issues are involved, when you go through into the brain, it has to exit the brain, and what happens when it tries to get back to your body, it won't come back in your body until your body has a purification for that energy, so it stays outside your body. It may even drift away from your body. And until your body is able to bring that energy back in, that energy is a purification of energy in your body. It won't come back in. So now you think you're changing? Hell no, you're not going to change. You're going to be blocked until you resynchronize the energy and bring it back into the body. See, even on overweight people, I think what happens, some of those people, actually this energy goes outside the body and drifts away from the body. And then your body tries to reach it by going overweight. Tries to go back into it, reach it, and it won't reach it. And the further you try to reach for it, the further it goes out. And it'll do that in strata of your body. Certain strata will be very involved, other strata won't. How do you feel, Alexander?
Wow.
What'd you feel?
I don't even know if I'm still I. You know?
You're born as a number. You're born as one.
Mm-hmm.
What you acquire conceptually is the third person here. Your concepts are not who you are, the functions are. See, it's hard to get that across. What do you mean, the difference? The functions exist materially. The concepts, based on those functions, do not materialize. They stay in a psychological state. And therefore, it gives you partial truths about a larger function that exceeds partial truths. Because you live by a lie because you don't add all the components of a truth into a system. So it destroys.
Fragmented.
Huh?
Fragmented.
Yes, fragmented. The avoidance of certain energies means that you're imposing a lie upon your system. Even though you believe you're telling the truth, if you test it against your spirit, it won't verify it. The spirit won't verify it. So the spirit will say, no way in hell. And because the spirit is plugged in to your point of origination. What happened after that fact is not your point of origination, but it's a response by which you speak and express yourself, but conceptually, not because most concepts are set up to block your feelings, and so you develop processes by which feelings are subordinated to concepts. Now, when a concept comes into play, that's what you speak with. You're speaking by concepts. So the truth of matter is matter. It's not your concept. That's why everybody within the constitution of life, if they have a problem with sexuality, let's say, they conceptualize it and they materialize it in ways that exceed its genuine nature. When you see the show by these guys, the 2.5 Men, you almost have a joy from their pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're having fun and it's not a big issue. Now the churches make it a gigantic issue. And they choose not to accept, not to respect or love the nature of what they're doing and who they are. Now they do a lot of things that are not viable because some of these compulsions, sexual compulsions, are another issue. How do you feel right now?
Mm-hmm. Amazed.
Okay.